He gave her a free ride without asking anything in return. But what she gave him back would leave him speechless and change his life forever. Ravi was an honest taxi driver in the bustling heart of Mumbai. Every day was a grind, dodging traffic, chasing fares, and trying to make enough to cover his daughter's school fees and his ailing mother's medicine. That evening, as the sun dipped behind smoky skies, he was about to call it a day when he spotted a woman on the sidewalk, struggling to walk. She was heavily pregnant, carrying a small bag and looking completely lost. He pulled over instinctively. "You okay, madam?" he asked. She looked up, her eyes filled with worry. "I need to get to the hospital, but I have no cash. I thought I had my wallet." Ravi didn't hesitate. "Get in, I'll take you. Don't worry about the money." Her voice cracked. "Are you sure?" He nodded. Babies don't wait for wallets. The ride was tense. She was in pain but trying not to panic. Ravi spoke softly, distracting her with small talk, trying to keep her calm. He took shortcuts, skipped signals, and within minutes, they reached the hospital gate. She was rushed inside. Ravi didn't wait for a thank you. He simply smiled, turned the meter off, and drove away. Another act of kindness, forgotten as soon as it was given. But what he didn't know was who she really was, and what she was about to do for him in return. 3 days later, Ravi was back on the road, tired, broke, and worried. His daughter's school had sent a fee reminder. His mother's prescription had doubled in cost, and the taxi needed servicing. He sighed, wiping sweat from his brow, thinking of nothing but survival. At a red light, someone tapped on his window. It was a man in a crisp black suit. "Are you Ravi?" he asked. Ravi blinked, unsure. "Yes. Why?" The man handed him an envelope and a card. "This is for you, from someone you helped. You'll understand once you read it." Before Ravi could ask more, the man walked away and vanished into the crowd. He parked under a tree, opened the envelope, and his hands began to tremble. Inside was a check. More zeros than Ravi had ever seen in his life, enough to pay off every debt, enough to buy a home, enough to change everything. With the check was a handwritten note. "Dear Ravi, you gave me safety when I had nothing, not even my dignity. You didn't ask for money, name, or favors. But I want you to know, your kindness saved more than one life that night. I never forget people like you. Arohi Mehta." The name didn't register at first, but later that night, while watching the news, his jaw dropped. Arohi Mehta, a business heiress, daughter of one of India's wealthiest industrialists. She had kept a low profile for years, but had recently given birth in a public hospital, and Ravi had unknowingly driven her there. The woman he thought was just another lost soul was one of the most powerful women in the city. The next day, with the check still clutched in his calloused hands and the note echoing in his heart, Ravi's life took on a new meaning. Every mile he drove on the bustling Mumbai streets felt lighter, even as his past struggles and burdens still haunted him. News about Arohi Mehta's humble beginnings mixed with her immense wealth spread through the city like wildfire. People couldn't believe that the same generous soul who once received a free ride from a kind taxi driver was now the daughter of an industrial giant. Ravi's act of kindness had come full circle. Determined to learn more, Ravi visited the hospital where Arohi had given birth. There he found her, a soft-spoken new mother, tired but radiant with love for her baby. Their eyes met briefly through a window, and she gave a small, knowing smile that sent a jolt of hope through him. Later that afternoon, Ravi received an unexpected phone call. Arohi's voice, gentle yet resolute, came through. "Ravi, I'd like to meet you. I want to thank you in person. Please, come to the charity event I'm hosting at the community center tomorrow." He was stunned. A billionaire heiress inviting him to a charity event? With each word, Ravi's heart pounded faster, uncertain whether to believe his luck or suspect another twist of fate. Yet, deep down, he felt that his simple act had sown seeds that were about to bloom in ways he never imagined. That night, as he sat in his modest home and reflected on the past few days, Ravi resolved to go. Not just for the money that might change his life, but to stand up for the kindness he had always believed in. Kindness that could unite even the most unlikely worlds. Ravi stood outside the community center, hands trembling, his old shirt freshly ironed and shoes shined as best as he could manage. Dozens of reporters, business leaders, and cameras buzzed around the entrance, all there for Arohi Mehta's first public appearance since the birth of her child. He felt wildly out of place, just a taxi driver in a sea of polished people. But something told him he belonged there today. Inside, the event began with applause and flashing lights as Arohi stepped onto the stage, holding her newborn in her arms. The crowd fell silent when she began to speak. 2 weeks ago, she said, I was walking through a storm, literally and in life. I was scared, alone, and in pain. My baby was coming early, and in that moment, someone reached out without asking who I was. She paused. He didn't know my name. He didn't ask for money. He just said, "Babies don't wait for wallets." And that ride, just a few kilometers, changed everything. The audience was silent. Then she turned and looked toward the back. "Ravi," she said into the mic, "can you please come up here?" Gasps swept the crowd as every camera turned to him. Ravi, stunned, stepped onto the stage slowly. Arohi reached out, took his hand, and looked him in the eye. "You didn't just help me. You reminded me of the kind of world I want my child to grow up in. And so today, I'm announcing the Ravi Foundation, a trust in your name, to provide emergency aid for underprivileged families and pregnant women in crisis across India." Ravi's knees weakened. The crowd erupted in applause. Tears welled in his eyes as Arohi gently placed her baby in his arms and whispered, "You didn't just give me a ride, Ravi. You gave my child a chance. Now let me help give you the life you deserve." That night, the headlines blazed. Taxi driver's kindness turns into national movement. Billionaire honors man who asked for nothing. Baby born, legacy built, because one man chose to care. And Ravi? He still drove his taxi now and then, not because he had to, but because he wanted to remind the world that sometimes a simple ride becomes the journey that changes everything.